2012, December 15, the plane crash that killed Patrick Yakoha was televised live. To our surprise, some northern children hit the street jubilating, chanting Arna Yamutu, which means the pagan is dead. Yakowa was a Christian governor of Kaduna State. This morning we will be exposing the minutes of the Islam fundamentalists in the north who pushed for the depopulation of Christians all over the north down to the middle belt. Welcome. Let us go right into it right away. In the recent times, so many conflicts has occurred, just as in the past, and it is all based on religious conflict. Nigeria will split on religious lines if Nigeria will not elect and vote in a man that will come and unify our religious differences. As of today, the Nigerian Constitution recognizes the Sharia law. We have seen how the Sharia law has perpetrated in so many Christians' land, supposed Christian lands. And we have seen how the Fulanis have been emboldened, how the House of Fulanis have always rode on the constitutionally backed Sharia law that as a premise for their expansion. Sometime in 2010-2011, a meeting was held, and in this meeting, it was unanimously agreed for Christians to be depopulated, to be unalived by some well-prominent northern Nigeria politicians. Amongst these people that attended the meeting is Pantani. Pantani was the immediate past digital economy minister under Buhari. Let us go into the crux of the discussion. This meeting is born out of growing antagonism, hardship, and how the Christians in Nigeria are attacking and despising the religion of Allah. The worrisome issue is that the south and the west of Nigeria is predominantly Christians, who Muslims are considered as animals. Lies. The Christians will never go out and call Muslims animals. These are all lies. These are propaganda used, reasons given to their unintelligent fellow citizens so that they can go out there and commit all manner of atrocities against the Christians. It doesn't matter if you're a northerner. A Fulani Christian is not safe. The aim of this meeting is to, one, address the growth and spread of Christianity in the north. Receive reports of the treatment meted against the religion of Allah in some parts of the north, especially Plateau State. Re-strategize the full implementation of jihad in just Plateau and as well as Kaduna State. You will remember that within the period of 2010, 2011 under Jonathan, I think it was Jang that was the governor of Plateau State then, we started having all manner of bomb blasts targeting some religious institutions. Then it extended into Nasarawa and Abuja. These attacks were highly coordinated and they were all built on the premise of spreading Islam to conquer Christianity. They called it the fight of jihad. They call it the fight for Allah. Let us continue. Christianity is fast growing in the north, which is totally uncalled for. We are aware that Christianity has emulated Islam in the southwest. Thus, Islam can no longer thrive there. Can we say of that today in the current Southwest? Southwest, as it is today, are even demanding for Sharia. And there has never been a time recorded that Southwest Christians have invaded Islamic institutions, Muslim place of worship, attacked them. There has never been none. The provocation has always come from one sect, and I believe you know that sect. Let me continue. Furthermore, the Christians brought out a scheme so as to go rooted and get liberated in the north. They brought what they called Middle Belt. They said this Middle Belt curve, which are predominantly Christians, which of course is being led by Plateau, and this is why their agenda is to conquer Plateau. Conquering Plateau will give them that latitude, that lacuna, that loophole. They are going to attack from the center. When you look at the map of Nigeria, when you look at the Middle Belt, Plateau sits right at the center. In the Middle Belt, Plateau is the most prominent, the most fertile, and of course we can say the land with the most potential. Hence, they want to conquer Plateau, just as they did to Kano State of the North. They intend to do it by force. And they said that anybody who goes against such conquest will be unalived. In a country that has law enforcers, in a country that has the police, the soldiers, these people who led this meeting even went ahead to become ministers. Let me continue. The Christians have now extended not only in remote areas, but inside cities, as against the wishes of our Islamic leaders, who are now no more. It should be noted that our leaders like the great Sardauna, Tafawa Balewa, Abubakar Gumi, Alhaji Shehu Maigandu, and so forth, admonish us not to allow churches to be built in cities in the north, because this is against their Quranic ethos standing. So therefore, they have to do everything possible to clear out the churches just for them to practice their Sharia law. We wonder why this issue has always been widely accepted, when their leaders like Tafawa Balewa, whom some people call heroes, instead of him to instill in the northern populace national development, devoid of religious sentiment, devoid of ethnic sentiment, devoid of religious supremacy, Tafawa Balewa deceived them, told them that their religion is supreme, told them that the Christians are lesser human beings, told them that the Christians should not have their freedom. And then we are beginning to question the present day North. The northern Nigeria was built on the foundation of Islamic fundamentalism and extremism. I repeat, Nigeria's divide is imminent. And if it's ever going to divide, it will be on religious line. My brothers in the Southeast have always shouted that the Nigerian Constitution, recognizing Sharia law, has given them the wherewithal to go around and boast that Nigeria is an Islamic state. Let us go to the demands of this meeting. They said the Muslim leaders must meet with traditional rulers and, of course, all northern Muslim governors to immediately implement the following demands. First, they said they must devise policies. You see that all churches built in their respective state capitals are demolished. Imagine. They said, as it was the case in Katsina under Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, who banned the teachings of Christianity in public places, that all northern governors must implement this. Now I question those southerners who have always said that Umaru Yar'Adua was the best president that Nigeria ever had. In fact, so many southerners come out to share in the grievances of the northerners why and when Musa Yar'Adua died. Are you still going to say he is the best president? Imagine a situation whereby a Yar'Adua was still alive. Don't you think he could have Islamized the whole of Nigeria? A man who could set policies against the Christians' freedom and independence in Katsina. A man who could regulate and ban open preaching of Christianity. Is this a democracy? We will remember that shortly when Yar'Adua came on board, so many local television stations stopped showing the Christian programs. On AIT, on MITV, they stopped showing them. These religious Christian churches, all of them had to migrate to DSTV and GoTV, setting up their own private televisions. It was all because the northern Muslims, extremists, were campaigning and they had their own son who was indeed an Islamic extremist in power. Let me go to the next demand. They said, place a ban on Christians using public address during their services. They said this demand must be adhered to by all Christians. And in any way the Christians try to rebel or fight back, that they are fighting the cause of Allah and they will not resist to implement the full rod, a violent one, to ensure that Christians are totally wiped out from such state. At this very stage, it is now clear that the Nigerian government, right from 2010, 2011, has allowed this Islamic fundamentalist, this Islamist conquest to continue to foster. Today we have what we call a Muslim ticket. Today we have what we call, in a secular state, a supposed secular nation, the Muslims are foisting their demands beyond even security forces. The security forces are helpless. Since 2010, when this meeting was held, we have seen constant killings of the Christians in Plateau, in Nasarawa. Sometime in 2011, 2012, I experienced in life when churches were burnt in broad daylight in Kano State. I think it was Kwankwaso that was the governor then, if I'm not mistaken. Churches were burnt down in Kaduna, in Katsina, in Kano State. As a Christian, if you dare stop them, if you try to petition or apprehend them not to burn down your church, you would pay with your dear life. In a supposed secular state. These are the cries. These are the reasons Why the Southeasterners had to aggregate themselves to form a body called Biafra, called IPOB. These were the demands of the late Odumeju Ojukwu, that those that are called the political leaders of Nigerian contraption should not be pushing religion bias, should stop investing, cultivating this sentiment, because it is dangerous. When Nigeria would divide, which is becoming nearer and so imminent, it will solely be on religious line. And as a Yoruba man, I am scared because the Muslims fundamentalists have infiltrated the Yoruba land. Oh yes, they have infiltrated Oyo State. A Makinde today is now crying, begging for the sanctity of the Oyo State forest, wherein the Fulanis have come out to aggressively and courageously speak that the Oyo State forest is irreversibly their own heritage, and it is now has now become their own ancestral properties. Religion will be the bane of this economy, of this contraption. Let us take a look at our Nigerian armed forces. Let us take a look at the logo. We have an Arabic inscription in it. They try to tell us that it is Ajamin. You don't want to come out straight. Deception has always been the schemes of the Fulanese. They tell you they are just visitors. Before you know it, they expand. When they expand, they start owning lands. They start increasing in population. When they see they've grown to a sizable amount that they can go into war, they attack and strike. This has always been their agenda. This was the agenda they used against the Hausa people. This was the agenda Uthman Dan Fodio used to conquer them. The Hausa people today are no longer in any form ruling their own people. It is the Fulanis who are their emirs. It is the Fulanis in large numbers who are their governors. The political class controlling the Hausa land today are the Fulanis. The Hausas, who are predominantly farmers, have been annihilated by the Fulanis, who are predominantly herdsmen. They are pastoralists. The Fulanis are people who are nomadic in nature. They invaded Hausa land, conquered it. They have now turned it to themselves, to their own. Today, the Hausa people have no voice, and their next target now is get into the Jos, get into the southwest, conquer it. They will have a free pathway into the sea. That is their new conquest. That is their new agenda. Conquer into the sea. The force that has been pushing back, the body, the unit, the people who have been pushing back have been called the enemy of Nigerian unity. The Fulanis will only accept a Nigeria united by Islam. The Fulanis, the Islamic fundamentalists, the Hausa Fulanis, will only accept a Nigeria that is united based on Islam. These are their agendas. This is why, ever since Patrick Yakoha was assassinated, there has never been a Christian governor in Kaduna State. There has never been any Christian governor that got elected in any northern state. I mean, we have some significant Christian numbers in Kano, in Kaduna. But based on these Sharia tenets, the northern people have been told that their revered father, Sardauna, has given them an order that the Christians must never have a say in the north, and by extension, in the total country. At this stage, the Christians must wake up, rise up. We must stop the conflict amongst ourselves. I understand the Fulanis have infiltrated and they have divided the Yorubas based on religious lines. Because when the Christians, Yorubas, want to support the Igbos, who are predominantly Christians, the Yoruba Muslims will rather follow the Fulanis. And this is the issue. If you are just joining, please kindly like, subscribe, and share. Bye for now.